Welcome to the Webb Report. My name is Stuart Webb. Tonight I wanted to talk about Dan Bongino. So some of you may know who Dan Bongino is. He was the former deputy FBI director. He just left. He was in there about 10, 11 months, right when the Trump administration began. And his whole spiel, his whole focus was supposed to be uncovering the Epstein files and showing the public the truth. Because formerly he was, a podcaster, a radio show host for many years. And this is he was focused a lot on uncovering, we need to get to the bottom of the Epstein files. Now, Dan Bongino came to prominence about 15 years ago after he left. He was a Secret Service agent under the Bush administration and the Obama administration. And he famously left during the Obama administration, his first term. And, he went on many radio shows, kind of right-wing political shows and podcasts, and speaking out against the Democrats and Obama, all that. And so that's how he came to prominence. And that's how he's kind of built a following over the last decade and a half. And so a lot of people were excited about him getting into the FBI and being in this high position of power. And unfortunately, he didn't really do anything. And famously, this clip, and I'm sure many of you have seen it, it's him him saying that, Epstein, I've seen the whole case file, Epstein killed himself.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Okay, so there you have it. And just recently, this is Dan Bongino news coverage of him leaving the FBI after not even being there a year.
We are learning in the last literally 8 minutes, he is leaving that position.
Yes.
After some tensions, in part, right, around some of this stuff. Talk us through this.
Yeah, I mean, and he's sort of commented on this in Fox News.
And by the way, this is his tweet or whatever online X post in the last. You can see it. I mean, in the last.
So here's the tweet: I will be leaving my position with the FBI in January. I want to thank President Trump, AG Bondi, and Director Patel for the opportunity to serve with purpose. Most importantly, I want to thank you and my fellow Americans for the privileges to serve you. God bless America and all those who defend her. So, really, to put it simply, I wanted to talk about this because I've seen this just constantly in my entire adult life. We elect people to get in and to make real change, to actually, clean out the government, clean out corruption. It just never happens, right? And we've even seen in this Trump administration, which again, you should not trust, you should be skeptical of our government. You just should be, right? Judge them by their fruits, okay? And so in regards to Dan Bongino is just an example of how this happens all the time, right? And so really we have to judge them by their fruits, and we have to look at this whole Jeffrey Epstein saga and use some discernment and say, the media has had us focused on this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, who is supposedly the ringleader of a massive organized evil, basically what do you call it? A crime syndicate, right? In high levels of government and corporate life, right? All connected, and which is 100% true that is going on, but they want us to think. But the media wants us to think that somehow Jeffrey Epstein was at the center of it all. So the media frequently uses what's called red herrings, and this is what I believe Jeffrey Epstein is. after just listening to for the last 10 years. I mean, I remember when he came on the scene, this random guy that no one had ever heard of suddenly was the focus of the media was focusing on him. So Jeffrey Epstein, he's been the media's focus as, oh, this is the guy, this is the guy that's been running, this elite crime syndicate that traffics people and does all sorts of terrible things, has blackmail on everyone. And so they've been focusing on this guy. And I just believe that he's a red herring. I don't know if he's an actor, if he's a real guy, if he was just placed there. We really don't, us little people out here, we really have no access to a lot of this information. Okay. We just are given information by the media and we get to decide whether we believe it's true or not. And so, this has been this Jeffrey Epstein thing has been such a distraction, and I think he's placed there to distract us. Now, the one good thing about the Epstein situation and saga is that many people in the general public actually can fathom the idea that this kind of organized evil is happening, which it is. It's just Jeffrey Epstein's not at the center of it. Okay, it's continuing to go on, and he's just playing a role. Who knows if he's dead or alive? We don't have access to that information. Okay, and certainly Dan Bongino is not going to give us that information. Okay, so in that video, so many people watched it and they were like, "Man, he sounds like a hostage," And the reality is, they're not going to put someone in there that's going to reveal their secrets, right? So we're going to be waiting for a long, long time if you are waiting for the Epstein files to come out. So, and you've seen Trump's flip-flop on the whole thing too, which doesn't even make sense to me because it's like they're never going to be released anyway, man. So, but anyway, I also did want to, while we're on this topic, I wanted to just talk about in general the Trump administration, and not just the Trump administration. It doesn't matter what administration gets in. When this organized evil has taken over, they control both sides. So let's look at Pam Bondi, of lover of freedom, apparently. Listen to this.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Okay, there's free speech and then there's hate speech. Okay, well, hate speech can be defined any way you want it. If I say something you don't like, which is my free speech, my opinion, if I give you an opinion you don't like, you can, and you deem it hateful, then I guess that's hate speech. So what she just said is a contradiction. Okay, there is plenty of free speech, speech protected by the First Amendment that people can deem hateful, but they still have the right to say it. Okay, so this is Trump's Attorney General. So I've seen so much. We had high hopes, or I didn't have high hopes. I kind of knew that this would go on, and it just continues. But many people had high hopes that this change in administration was really going to bring about a protection of our a restoration of the protection of our natural rights, and that hasn't proven has not proven to be the case. So, just be skeptical of everyone that gets into these high positions of power, and judge for yourself. I mean, judge them by their fruits. We're now seeing just unprecedented levels of like the executive branch just, well, I guess I shouldn't say unprecedented. I mean, the Bush administration, I was alive for that. Although the Bush administration at least went to Congress to ask for permission to do things that I would say are illegal, but because no actual declaration of war was declared against, Iraq and Afghanistan when we went and occupied those countries. But we're seeing the the executive branch just kind of do whatever they want. And that's just going to continue. And it doesn't matter who's in, but it's just going to continue. And we really need to restore limitations on government, and we need to restore the government respecting the natural rights of its citizens. And so this Bongino thing, it's just kind of it's just an example of what I've been experiencing and been seeing for the last 15 years. Don't put your trust or hope in a political messiah. You just don't. Judge them by their fruits. Pray for the best. Pray that God can help us restore, the protection of our natural rights and the enforcement of natural law in this country and across the world, hopefully, if we can do it by peaceful means. But that's what we need to pray for, and we need to pray for these people that are in our government, that they'll turn from their wicked ways and actually do what's right. And so I judge them by their fruits. I don't see this administration doing anything that I would doing anything that's going to restore constitutional principles. And this is the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing. For example, Jeffrey Epstein, like, I can't even watch like the Netflix documentaries about Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein and their whole saga, because it's just what they want you to see. Like, it's got to be a red herring. Like, I mean, come on. And he's conveniently dead. I mean, so it's just like, nothing's really going to come of it. And we shouldn't put our eggs in that basket and think that somehow the release of the Epstein files, which means whatever documents they allow us to see, are going to be released. A lot of it's a distraction, misleading, deception, but there is organized evil going on. That's for sure. It's just the organized evil that runs everything is not going to allow us. They're not going to just willingly give up their plans, right? Or willingly indict themselves. At least not yet. We'll see. Maybe they will. I don't know. Sometimes they give clues, right? Sometimes they out themselves. But in regards to when the media is pushing something heavily, you should be skeptical of it, right? Because they also control these platforms, right, that we communicate on. And I heard someone that I listen to, they're like, we talk about really serious things, they never go viral. And really serious and important things, they never go viral, and that's by design, and I agree with that. I mean, the media is going to push, the algorithm's going to push things that they want to be presented to the public. So, anyway, Dan Bongino, I wish him well. We do need to pray for these people, that they repent, and that hopefully that, people that do actually have good intentions, can do their best. And then, if they feel like, hey, this is just too hard to do, at least come out and just tell us, hey, it's too screwed up in there. So at least we'll know. It'll give us like almost vindication, and at least let us know that, hey, at least this person is had good intentions, and they realized that it's so bad in there we can't do anything. So anyway, those are my thoughts on. I know it was a little scattered, but just wanted to talk about the Bongino Epstein saga, and so anyway, have a good night.